Cold open question of the week, Gary.
Yes, sir.
What's your greatest Valentine's fantasy?
Ooh.
I'm going to hang up and listen.
Oh man. Ooh, twins. No, I'm joking.
Oh,
I'm joking.
Gary.
Greatest Valentine's fantasy. Man, to probably not have to worry about Valentine's Day.
That sounds like a good fantasy to me.
Yeah,
All right, let's start.
Such a waste of a holiday.
Tonight on the Brian Lennon Show podcast, the one about Valentine's Day, we're going to discuss worst dates, gun violence, and fantasy book the next Super Bowl halftime show, and viewer mail. All tonight on the Brian Lennon Show. All right, so welcome into another edition of the Brian Lennon Show. We are recording on Tuesday, February 14th, which is Valentine's Day or Valentine's night. Gary and I are longtime married men, so we don't have anything planned. So we are talking to each other as usual on Tuesday night for a show that will air on Wednesday, the day after Valentine's Day. Gary, I wanted to, I was thinking about Valentine's Day, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have any memorable worst dates, first dates, or blind dates?
To tell you the truth,
Have you ever been on a blind date?
No, never been on a blind date. Never really been on I've been on one true date. Other than that, never really. I mean, I've been with Shannon for 20 some odd years now, and I don't think we've really ever. I mean, we've gone on some stuff, but not like a true like date where I asked her and we go out and blah blah blah. But no, I've never done any blind dates.
Blah blah blah
blah blah blah. No,
I was on.
I think even in high school, I went on one date. That was it. That was
Really.
Yeah. I mean, unless you count I don't really count like the semis or proms or anything like that, because I mean that's a given. But yeah, other than that, I think I've been on one actual date, and that's it.
I was on two blind dates. And I was thinking about that. I don't think anyone will ever go on a blind date anymore with computers and dating apps and all that stuff.
Nope. Yeah, you already know what everyone looks like. I mean, unless you're getting catfished, but majority of the time, yeah, you're swiping right, and you're already know what the person looks like. So it's like, okay, there's no real, like what's that movie, Sleepless in Seattle? There's no real thing like that. So,
the two blind dates I was on. I don't know if have I talked about this on the show. I don't
think so. It doesn't sound familiar.
Okay, yeah. My sister set me up with one of her coworkers. That wasn't great, and then I did like a kind of a mentoring thing when I worked for the newspaper down in Virginia, where we had like a student, like we went to breakfast with the student, and then they came back to the office with us. And the girl was like, she's like, you would be you'd be great for my sister. I was like, oh, she was cute. I was like, yeah, hook me up. So we met, and I was like, ooh, no. So yeah, both blind dates were not good. Yeah. So, do you have any? So, do you have a memorable date, like a good date? What's your best date with Shannon?
Yeah, we don't really do much. I mean, I think our like right now we've started like she's been working, so it's been we haven't been going, but we started for a while now. Every Friday night we go out, we go up to rap. We'll have some drinks, we'll sit around, we'll just, you know, I think that's our most memorable dates now is just hanging out there and just chilling with
So,
the two of us. So
so like an old married Florida couple.
yes, exactly, exactly.
Oh, okay.
So that's my most memorable thing now is just doing that, which I enjoy. So I think she does too.
What did you say? Oh, okay, good.
I said I enjoy it, and I think she does too. But we haven't had it. We haven't gone the last couple of weeks because she's been working. So she's in her busy time. So she's been at work like till 10, 11 o'clock at night. So
Wow. All right. Well, we're going to get back to some more Valentine's themed topics, but first, I want to move into a little bit more of a serious topic, Gary.
mm-hmm.
Uh, with there was a shooting at on Michigan State University's campus,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I think there was three people were killed, and 5 or 6 were seriously injured. And I saw a headline today. Um, a representative from the Michigan House of Representatives, uh, Ranjeev Puri, from the 24th district, he posted on Twitter and in a letter. Um, he wrote, "F your thoughts and prayers," and I'm going to read the. Um, so he writes, "F your thoughts and prayers. I want to extend my deepest condolences to the Michigan State University community who are experiencing unimaginable trauma and grief after a shooter opened fire at multiple locations across the campus. What happened in East Lansing is unfortunately far too common. Going to school in America, whether it's preschool or college, means risking your life every day to the threat of a mass shooting. Yet, all we have offered up are empty solutions, traumatizing active shooter drills and bulletproof backpacks." He goes on to say, "We do not need to live like this. The United States is the only country where this happens, where mass shootings have left us desensitized, waking up each day to a seemingly never ending horrific cycle of gun violence." And he says, "Living in a society plagued with gun violence can be prevented. It is a symptom of years of inaction. We are not even 2 months, 2 full months into 2023, and this marks the 67th mass shooting of the year, along with over 2,215 mass shooting gun deaths." Then he says, "Thoughts and prayers without action and change are meaningless," and goes on a little bit more. What's your initial reaction, Gary, to that coming from an elected official?
Yeah, I agree with them. Really, I mean, there has so when it comes to it's so hard because like the Second Amendment stuff is you got those that say no one should own anything except for military and police and all that. But and then there's others that are like, oh well, I need my bazooka. But it I man, I believe you should be able to have own your own weapon, reasonable weapon. Like you don't need some of those like the weapons that some of these people are complaining about. Like they're not they're set for they should be set for just military and like police type. No normal citizen should have to have a machine gun or anything of that sort. I don't understand what you need it for. You're not hunting with that weapon. I mean, if you are, then you need to check yourself because I don't know why you need to be using an automatic weapon to go hunting for. If you can't shoot a deer with the rifle, then you might as well just sit home. But it's and I don't think it's ever going to change. Not in our lifetime. Regulations are just they're not going to anything. Nothing's ever going to get passed. So
Yeah, I mean, it's, I understand people's frustration, with thoughts and prayers. There's only, I think people want to see more concrete stuff being done
Mhm.
by our elected officials. But I was kind of thinking about it when I saw this um, story, and maybe kind of think, Gary, about maybe kind of changing the idea of gun violence. All right. So if we, Gary, if we called every automobile accident road rage,
Mm-hmm.
right? How many people would be dying from road rage every year?
True.
Even though some of it is drunk driving,
Mm-hmm.
s- uh, maybe people who shouldn't be driving,
Mm-hmm.
um, people who just don't know how to drive, um, you know, accidents with brake failure, things like that. Like we don't classify all car accidents as like car violence
Yeah.
or road rage.
Mhm.
Um, and I think obviously using a gun is violent, but what if we called it mental health violence?
Yeah.
The gun is only the vehicle, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know. Yeah.
In fact, there was a story on Good Morning America this morning about someone in a U-Haul box truck
Mm-hmm. Yep.
in
I've seen that.
Brooklyn driving down
Mm-hmm.
a sidewalk.
Yep.
All right. So there's lots of different forms of violence, whether it's gun violence, U-Haul box truck violence.
Yep.
Um, and so the vehicle may change as far as what they're using, but I think it really comes down to is mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And the shooter in Michigan State, I guess, was jailed for 1 day for carrying a loaded weapon previously, and um, there was, I guess, a wellness check done on him as well at some point this past week or in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I think really we need to maybe not focus and harp so much on guns as we do the mental health aspect of it.
Yeah. No, that's you're totally correct on that. It is. I mean, if you think about it, most of the majority of the time with all these shooters, they do have some sort of mental problem, or it stems from something like of that area. My thing is okay. Yes, they have mental problems, but how are they getting these weapons now to be able to do stuff with? I mean, you're right. They could go rent a car and just drive it in to a building.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, how many people die every year in car accidents or vehicle deaths, however, whatever is the cause? Like, we're not rushing to ban automobiles,
I
but
think,
yet more people probably die in car accidents than they do to gun violence.
but I think the thing is when it comes to car violence, majority of the time, that's not they're not out to make violence in the car. Drunk driving, different story. You're impaired. You shouldn't be in the car, but you don't think that you're going to kill someone when you're out there. When you're now getting yourself an automatic weapon, you know what you're going to do with that. You're planning on using that to you have premeditation towards that. In a vehicle, you
Right,
don't.
but now I wouldn't be opposed to some sort of mental health check, or if you're going to get a gun, license it like you would a car. You have to take a test. Maybe you have to have a permit. You might
You
have to
do.
take gun safety, right?
No, you do. I mean that is the way you
Well,
get your.
you don't need to take a gun safety class to purchase a gun.
No, because you have that. Yeah, you have that 3 day limit or whatever where they do a background check on you. So I
But
mean,
what does that
some sort of.
does that
Oh, it doesn't do
it,
anything.
right? Does that
That's
show
why I'm
that this
saying it's.
person has been arrested once and kept in jail for 1 day
Oh yeah, no,
for
there wouldn't be
carrying a
any.
loaded weapon?
Yeah, there would be nothing on that unless there was something else more into his background that they would check. But that's That's the other thing. That's what I'm trying to say too. Is the where people are getting these guns? There's no. I mean, I can't. I'm speculating, but I'm just saying I don't think they're doing their true due diligence. And some of these places, you go to a pawn shop, they're gonna okay, they're gonna sell you that weapon. They're just gonna wait the 3 days and then sell it to you. They're not running through paperwork and doing all this crap. They don't want to deal with any of that stuff. So they're just telling you to wait 3 days and then they're gonna sell you the gun. There's no true. I feel there's no true like background on check on some of these people. It's just so much easier. And then how is it here? We have such problems, but then you look in the Middle East and all that stuff, and you got these kids and people walking around the streets with automatic weapons, but they're not mass shooting over there with the like you know
Well, they are. They are.
but,
If you go into
but not like here.
Palestine or Israel, the West Bank.
Well, they're fighting against one another. Here we're just going in randomly shooting people for like we just have mental issues and with these Americans. Where we just pick random stuff, or we get aggravated because we got put in jail for 1 day, or my girlfriend broke up with me, so now I'm just going to shoot everybody. Like that's our problem. It's an American problem. These people over there, yeah, they're walking around with guns, but they're shooting at their enemies. They're not really.
But we've had the right to bear arms for 246 years, and it's only in the last 25 years that this so-called gun violence epidemic has manifested itself.
I don't think it's been well. We we've had this problem. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking for.
Well, the biggest high profile case obviously was Columbine.
Yeah.
In 99. But
Yep.
there were more cases before that. I think even didn't Shannon read a book? I thought she told me there was a book she read about some sort of like school shooting back in like the 30s or 40s or something.
Well, it might have been. I'm not saying this. I mean, we've probably had this problem for a long time. It's just but now because of social media, you hear more about it. I mean, back
Right.
when we were in school, we probably,
Social
I
media,
mean,
the
we didn't really.
24-hour news cycle, all
That's
that.
it. You had to wait for. I mean, when we were in school, you had to wait till the news or whatever to find out anything. You didn't know it like right off the bat.
Now, Gary, right before the show, I think I pulled my back.
Oh, jeez.
I was just like bending over to pick up the computer, and I felt something in my back go, and it's like sore, but I have a feeling it's gonna be even worse in the next
Mine's been
tomorrow.
acting up lately too.
Uh,
I'm trying to God, where the hell is it? I can't. You think
are you
it'd
gonna drop a stat on me or something
be
here?
everything easier here? Sheeprins, creepers. It's annoying. Can't get anything to work for me today. I'm trying to actually find the wording for the Second Amendment, but for some reason it won't come up. You would think with freaking all this internet and all these damn websites, it would just pop right up.
Do you know how to spell amendment?
I do. Yeah, it's all right here. It's just that it's like bits and pieces of it, and they're not really like giving me the
It's like
full wording.
shrapnel.
I want the full freaking wording. Oh, it's only one sentence long. No wonder why I couldn't find it. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
There you go. In black and white and red and blue.
But it could also be read. I mean, yes, everybody reads the part, the right of the people to keep and bear arms. But I mean, the first part, a well regulated militia. being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms. Really, if I'm reading that, it's okay. It should be that not the people in general, but like people that are helping to keep the states or the country free.
Well,
And you got
that's
to remember,
everyday people.
this was written back when we were in constant wars, especially wars in our country.
Exactly.
So it was the point of, yes, having um, people to be able to protect themselves because they have, the British, or we had then at the Civil
Right.
War time. But now we don't have that. We don't have,
But why don't we have that, Gary?
because
Because everyone knows if they step foot on American soil,
we have
they're
a
going to get it.
military.
Yeah. I don't think anyone has stepped foot on U.S. soil since, what, 1812? Except for
9/11.
except for Pearl Harbor and 9/11.
Yeah, but then
And the
I
Chinese with
want to
that balloon.
see these people that are um, complaining about their right to bear arms. Well, then you know what? If some sort of civil war or something breaks out here, I don't want to see them bitching and moaning, not allowing their troops to stay in their house.
I'm sure a lot of them would open their
Oh
homes
no, I'm
to
sure a lot of them
soldiers.
they would deny it.
Do you think citizens of Ukraine would like to have or wish they had weapons when the Russians came marching in?
I'm sure they did.
Yeah, I think
Sure
that's why
did.
we have the
Sure did.
Second Amendment. All right, well, let's move on, Gary. We have. I wanted to. I don't want to talk about this past Sunday's halftime show because I
Okay.
don't think it deserves any mention. But I want to fantasy book the next Super Bowl halftime show
All right.
next February in Las Vegas. I'm thinking the theme is Viva Las Vegas. And what is Gary, the producer, going to be doing? Who's performing next year at Las Vegas?
Oh man, in Vegas. What's that? 58. Um, man, it's Vegas, so you gotta make it a show. So I mean, you gotta have. I mean, you don't want to. I think you break it up a little bit. You gotta have. I mean, there's not a true Rat Pack like there was back in the day, but I mean, there's got to be something like that where, like, they could kind of tribute that part because it's in Vegas. Do a little something like that, and then um,
I agree.
I think it's. I mean, then you got to have some showgirls dancing out there.
Ooh,
So
I
I
like
mean,
that.
it's Vegas. So I mean, you got to make it a spectacle. It's got to be like
Maybe
a Vegas show.
like the whole 50-yard line of showgirls.
Yeah. And then they're just out there dancing. Um, I don't know who I'd want to play though. I'm trying to think of like some.
Let me make a suggestion.
Okay.
What if you have Austin Butler reprise his role as Elvis
Okay.
to perform as Vegas Elvis?
Vegas Elvis. Then we need someone to do a little Frank and Dean and
There's lots of impersonators that perform in Vegas.
yeah. But that's not. They're not gonna. I mean, it'd be nice, to like maybe bring them out for like a little just something like on a side stage or something like that to do something like that,
Right.
and then just to like jump in with the main people. But I don't know who Vegas. I'm trying to think of who is even from Vegas.
The other thing I was thinking, Gary, are a lot of artists have taken up like a residency at a casino
Mm-hmm.
in Las Vegas. I think Aerosmith has done it. Britney Spears has done it.
Yep.
Uh, you
Celine
know,
Dion.
Celine Dion has done it famously. Um,
Wayne Newton.
I think either the New Kids on the Block or What's the other one?
Backstreet Boys.
Backstreet Boys, I think, did one. So maybe you could actually bring maybe everyone who's in residence next year could do a little part of their show.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah, like I said, it's got to be. I mean, it's Vegas, so you got to go big. It's got to be
Right.
a big, spectacular show. So that's how I would kind of put it together. But yeah, no, I like that. Yeah, anyone that has a residence or whatever, everyone makes an appearance.
Come on over to halftime.
All sings songs together.
Viva Las Vegas.
Like it.
All right, Gary. Well, originally we had a guest scheduled for tonight, but unfortunately, due to outstanding circumstances, they were not able to join us. But we had a new segment planned, and it's called "On the Couch" with Brian and Gary.
Okay.
So this is where we're going to give our listeners advice and answer those tough and touchy relationship questions.
All right. I like it.
So we have a few letters here. Let me grab the first one.
Okay.
All right. Dear Brian and Gary, I'm an old-fashioned girl in an old-fashioned relationship. I love my boyfriend and enjoy making him dinner, rubbing his feet at night after a long day's work, and don't mind doing his laundry. My honey takes care of all the yard work, doing the odd and ends home repairs, and enjoys grilling come the warmer months. My friends think I'm crazy for holding up traditional roles. My question for you, is there a place for gender-based roles in today's relationships? Tessa in Burbank, California.
No, hey, whatever makes your relationship strong, you keep going with that. You don't need to. Yeah, there's no. In my head, there's female, male, blah blah blah, but we don't have to go off of that. So if she loves to cook and do like all the housework, and he does all the power to you. I mean, then whatever makes your relationship.
What if the guy says, I don't cook, you cook for me? What, like, she doesn't mind doing some of this stuff for her.
So now if you're forced into that role, then that relationship's going to be, that's not going to be a strong relationship. I mean, if you got a guy who's telling you that you need to do the cooking and the cleaning, and then you got a problem there. But I mean, you have one that is all for it and does his side of the work, and you do your side. And like I said, I don't mind. Like, I do a little bit of, like, sometimes I'll do the laundry, sometimes I'll cook. She does the same. Now, but majority of the time I do most of the yard work if we don't hire someone. But but I mean, like, it's not like she'll come out and help me. Like, after I'm done, like, she'll help me bag up garbage, things like that. So, I mean, it's a give and take. That's what. As long as you have a give and take relationship, you'll be fine.
All right.
That's how I see it.
So hope that helps. Hope that helps Tessa. All right. Next letter. Hi guys. I'm a 20-year-old and I have been seeing a girl for 3 months. I really like her and she really likes me. I think I'm ready for more, but wanted to ask you, how do you know when you and your partner are ready for that next step in the relationship? Caden in Laredo, Texas.
Oh, Caden. You're 20 years old.
What do you tell this guy?
No.
Don't do it.
Play the field, my friend. Don't do it. Don't fall into that web of because what's going to happen is, everything's perfect now, you'd think, and then, as soon as that ring goes on, boom, everything's downhill from there. You'll be in trouble. And then you'll be wishing that you had more tail. So for me, I would say hold off a little bit longer and just see.
So you're
in with one another. Do small steps. Small steps. If you're not living with her yet.
Well, isn't moving in a little bit more than he's just thinking about taking the next step in the relationship? I guess maybe we need more clarification.
It's marriage. So
he's only 20, Gary.
Well, I know, that's why I'm telling him don't do that part. Small steps, Caden. Small steps.
Small steps. All right, Caden. Hope that helps you. All right. Next letter here. Howdy, fellas. I've been with my wife 8 years, dated for 2 years, married for 6. To put it mildly, the fire is nearly out. I can barely remember the last time we, quote, got it on, like Marvin Gaye, and can probably count the number of encounters over the last years on just one hand. This can't be normal. That's why I want to ask, how often do couples with healthy sex lives get intimate? Sal in Parma, Ohio.
Man, Sal, I wish I knew. Um, you know what? It's funny is I have a few friends down here that when I hear about like I mean, probably about married about maybe the same amount of years, and
As Sal?
no, as me, which is a
Okay.
long time. But like, it just seems like they're really like heavy for one another. They still really, and all that. And I'm like, man, I wish I had that relationship. No, joking. No, I'm not joking. No, no, I'm
So
not
you
saying.
so you know, Gary, you personally know couples who are,
Oh
or do
yeah.
you think it's just all talk? They're still hot and heavy, or you think it's all talk?
Oh no, no. They're. I could tell when we're out with them. You could like they're ready to go. Like they could do it right there in front of us if they had to.
Oh my gosh.
They're oh yeah, it's crazy. I've never seen anything like that. I well I didn't it's like a unicorn. I never knew I didn't think it actually existed. But no, I'm not saying that we're not I'm a little bit probably better than Sal, but um I think Sal's problem was I mean he did only 2 years dating,
Yep.
so they didn't really. I mean, 2 years is. I don't know. How long were you with Jill before you guys got married? Must have been a while. You thinking?
Oh my God. What year is it?
2023. Last I looked. So I was 10 years before we got married. So at that point, I kind of knew her already. So I knew what I was getting into.
I think it was maybe a year and a half, if
Oh, so
that.
you're even shorter. Okay. I see. Now I think like the short. You guys are different because I mean you guys have been together for friggin' ever too. So I just feel like the shorter time that you're with someone, you don't really know them as much as you think you do. And then when you finally do take that step and get married, now I mean, of course, they've been married now for 8 years, so had to been doing something right.
But now you're saying you said what, 10 years
Mhm.
or 8 years?
I was 10 years before I got married.
Okay.
Been together 10 years before I got married. I don't know.
Were things the same 10 years later as they were like in the beginning?
No, okay.
Because you're proposing, Sal, if he had waited.
I think the thing is, it's weird. So, like I said, my in my life, it was the 10 was nice, hot, and heavy stuff. Then after that, it kind of just dwindled down a little bit. You get married, you start, then you have kids. You start, and then you get a house. All of a sudden, like you got all these other responsibilities. It kind of just takes it away, and then you're trying to find time to do things. And I mean, now once your kid gets a little bit older, it gets a little bit easier. You're able to do a little bit more. But I just it's but then knowing other couples that it just seems like they never stopped. It's weird. I just
What do you
never.
think it is? What do you think it is with those other couples? What do you think those other couples are doing that maybe Sal should do?
Man, um, they well, you know what? One thing is they go out every night, or not every night, but every weekend. So every Friday night is the same. They go out every Friday night. They make it a point. They leave the kids at home. They go out and they have themselves, dinner, some drinks. So every Friday they always go
I
out.
think that's important, is to make time for, like, just time for each other.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what they do. They do that. They go out every night. They talk every night. So like even when we go out, like when I'll go out with them like every other Thursday or something like that when we go out. They'll he comes home and he's like, all right, I'll be there in a little bit. I got to talk to my wife, blah blah blah. We, so that's the thing. Like he doesn't just come in and say, hey, I'm heading out. He just sit there and talk to her, find out our day, all this stuff. So like they'll still have all that communication and everything between one another before he does go out anywhere. So it's not where it's just like, okay, I'm home, I'm going out with my buddies, and then you just walk out. He makes time for his wife, talk to her, stuff like that. Like I said, then they do their weekly, you know, going out, their little date nights. So I think that's the most important thing. If you can kind of get that back up and going, then I think maybe your relationship will get better.
All right. Well, I hope that helps Sal out. And we have one more. All right. So this one is greetings. I've been a delivery driver for a local chicken joint since August. We have a female customer who orders each and every week, sometimes multiple times a week. Granted, our chicken is delicious, but this customer also flirts with me every time I deliver to her apartment. I'm looking to deliver more than chicken, if you know what I mean. How do I go about letting her know how I feel? Daryl in State College.
Oh, Daryl.
Help a brother out, Gary.
So, all right. So the thing with this is, okay. So yes, ordering a lot of chicken, but he says it's good. He's assuming she's flirting. Who knows? I mean, it's so hard because I wish I knew what Daryl looked like. It would make it so much easier.
I
But
wish I knew what the
the chicken tastes like.
customer looked like as well.
I was
Oh, well, the chicken too. That's
chicken.
probably important.
I mean, hey, you know what, Daryl? What's the worst that could happen? You know what I mean? Flirt back. See what you know what? Maybe for a week, just flirt back with her, and then see what happens after that. And then what the hell? Just ask her. Ask her out or something. And then if she
Now,
does,
Gary, I know I've known you for a long time. You've known me for a long time. We are, I wouldn't say either of us are, ladies' men.
oh no, I suck at flirting.
Yeah, me too. So, do you have any tips or hints that might help Daryl kind of break the ice with this female chicken customer?
Man, no, that's the problem. I sucked at the flirting part. That's why I always went out with Bob or Chris Lewis. They would be the ones that picked up all the girls, and then I would just kind of float in there. But man, I guess try to think of some. I wouldn't go crazy sexual right off the bat. And the way he was already talking about where he wants to give her a little bit more, because that's just gonna turn her off, and that'll be it. She won't be ordering chicken anymore. Just make it subtle. Make small little things or whatever, like when you show up or something like that. Oh, you look really good today, or something like that. Some small little things like that. Just do that for like
Kind
a
of let
big
her
week.
know, he's maybe more interested than just delivering chicken.
Exactly. Because if that's what he's assuming, that she's ordering all this chicken just for him to show up there all the time, then maybe don't just go to the door and hand her the chicken and walk away. You know what I mean? Just
Maybe throw a little something extra in there
say
too.
something. Yeah, just whatever. Say, hey, you look good today, or she ordered the two breast meal or something.
Ooh. All right. Well, that's enough of the viewer mail before we get thrown up the air here. All right. Well, I hope that helped you, Daryl and Sal and Caden and Tessa. Of course, if you have any relationship questions you want us to answer, feel free to send those in to the Brian Lennon Show at Substacked. Oh my God, I can't talk. Substack.com.
Substack.com.
Ugh. All right, Gary, is it time for
Let's tear it up.
And now it's time for Gary's News of the Weird with your host, Gary McDaniel. All right, so we go to the Tampa newsroom with Gary.
Yes, sir.
And Gary, I understand you have a special news segment, news story for this week.
I have a story brought to me by one of our loyal listeners out of Oliphant, Pennsylvania.
Oh, nearby.
The story is adult actress reportedly taken to hospital after shooting scene. Almost killed her. Porn star Kareen Lee recently revealed that he once put fellow actor Angela White in hospital after filming a scene with her. I put her into the hospital, and this was actually not on purpose, Lee revealed during an appearance this week on the Pillow Talk podcast. Lee, who has shot the most scenes, according to Pillow Talk, and close to 7,000 by Lee's own count, discussed his work in the industry, including an incident with White. I found out 2 days after shooting. She's gone back home to Australia. She said her stomach's hurting. Go see a doctor. Her appendix burst, he said, blaming the position she was in while filming. Her doctor allegedly determined that her appendix had burst while filming the scene with Lee, but he was taken his lumps too, describing a separate scene in which he suffered lockjaw and bit him, causing him to bleed. Porn locations aren't the cleanliest, so a PA's going, "Here you go. Here's like bleach," Lee said, laughing. He explained that he got disinfectant wipes to use instead, which caused a lot of stinging and made him cry. But he finished the scene, he stressed. He always finishes the scene, but that was a painful one. In an interview with former actress Aurora Snow, White said she hoped that her success can inspire others and that porn actors continue to find ways to take control of production. I don't know what that had to do with anything, but I think that was a separate little news story. But so yes, so porn star Kieran Lee basically burst Angela White's appendix. So she's pretty hot though.
So as she would say, some trouble down under, mate.
Here, I'll give you a little shot of what there's
please. Okay.
There's Angela White. Okay.
Dressed all in
So
black.
that was brought to us by our faithful listener here in Oliphant, Pennsylvania.
What's next? Anything for the family, Gary?
Let's see. I'm sorry, I was like thrown off with that one. Let's do this one. we'll stick with our good friend from Oliphant, Pennsylvania. A Polish mother of 7 successfully gives birth to quintuplets. Oh my God, quintuplets.
We're having trouble tonight.
Holy mackerel! All right, a Polish mother of 7 has successfully given birth to premature quintuplets. Hospital officials in southern Poland said Tuesday. The 2 boys and 3 girls were born through cesarean holy Christ. Cesarean section Sunday in the pregnancy's 28th week at the University Hospital in Krakow. What? Oh, stupid ad. Weighing between 710 and 1,400 grams, or 25 to 49 ounces, they were all put in incubators and given breathing support, but doctors said they are all doing fine given their premature birth. The quintuplets' mother, Dominika Clark, 37, told a news conference in Krakow Tuesday that she was feeling much better than I had expected. If you have a system, a calm approach, and a positive attitude, then it is possible to have a really cool life with such a large bunch of children. Clark and her British husband, Clark and her British husband's other children are aged between 10 months and 12 years and include 2 pairs of twins.
Sheesh.
So she already had 7 kids and then just gave birth to 4 more.
5 more.
5 more. Yes. 5 more.
Good thing you're not the father, Gary. You'd lose count how many kids you have.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, no.
And the youngest one was 10 and a half
10
months.
Yep.
That's crazy to have a kid 10 and a half months after you just have another kid.
Those Polacks. They like to get busy.
That's what I did.
Holy mackerel. Yeah, exactly. And that, my friends, is News of the Weird.
News of the weird. News of the weird. News of the weird. So, Gary, I have a question. How long have we been on?
That is a good question.
So usually we start around the top of the hour, but
yeah, man, I don't remember looking at the time.
It says you were logging in now. That was 52 minutes ago, so close to an hour.
Yeah.
I just wanted to remind listeners, Gary, that they can if you're listening to this podcast, you can subscribe to our Substack page. You'll get an email every time I post a story or we post a podcast. So would love for you to subscribe. Also check out our YouTube page. Yep. It's youtube.com/@The Brian Lennon Show. Email the show if you have a suggestion or would like to be on the show or have someone you think would be a good guest for us. Our email is thebrianlennonshow@substack.com. You can also send us in emails for advice, like we did tonight. Follow us on Twitter @BrianLennonShow. And then the website, of course, is thebrianlennonshow.substack.com. I think I got that all in.
Sounds about right.
This week, Gary, on Thursday, I'm going to post a story.
Okay.
The video, actually, of our interview with Izzy Miller from last week. Mm-hmm. The video will be up so people can see the interview. I also curated a playlist.
Yes.
If you listen to the podcast, he references, I think I counted about 18, 19, 20 musicians or songs. Mm-hmm. So I listened through it again and found the artists or the song and made a playlist on Spotify.
Did you throw the Elton John song on there?
That is the first song because that was the first song he referenced.
Okay.
Now, have you gone back to listen to it?
I want to go. No, but I want to because I'm like, I didn't know, like when he said the title, I don't recall that title, but if I hear the song, I'll be like, oh, okay. I just didn't know what the title was. So I'm hoping that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go in there and listen to some of that stuff.
Yeah. So I was actually listening to it tonight while I was doing dishes.
Okay.
And it's pretty good. I think I'm getting like into country. Like old country. Like,
you know what's funny is, so that was the thing when I started going out with Shannon, her family was all into country, and I never really was. And then when I started going out with her, that's all we started listening to. But it was like the older guys. It was the Brooks and Dunn. It was the George Strait. The Alan Jackson. It was those guys, not like what we have now. So I'm like, I was always into like the older country, Dolly, all that stuff. So
so I think you'll like it. You can put it on. So the playlist, I think it's about 20 songs. Okay. Runs about a little bit over an hour. and then I also added our podcast to the end of it, so it's there
Okay.
as well, so it's kind of all together. So I thought it was kind of a cool idea to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna look out for his album too on Friday. I'm gonna.
Yes, his album Izzy Miller Sings Extra Bacon and Other Chart-Topping Hits that will drop Friday as well. So that's why I'm going to release that on Thursday. And best of luck to Izzy Miller. I had a ball talking to him.
Oh yeah, it was great. Yeah, fun.
Right.
Said now, like I got
some
a friend in Alabama to hang out with. So
yes, yeah. If you ever need a place to stay, Gary,
that's it. He's got my back. I'm ready.
drive to Huntsville. All right. So some odds and ends, Gary. U2 going on tour without Larry McMullen Jr., their drummer. Is this anything, nothing, or something?
I'd say it's nothing. I mean, when you said the name, I didn't even know who he was. So I only know the two guys from U2. That's it. So like
Edge and
if you said Edge wasn't going out on tour, then I'd be like, well, then that's not going to be the same. But I mean, drummer's a drummer. Think of all these bands that are out there now that you only know like the lead singer, maybe one other person of the band, maybe a guitarist or maybe a bass, and maybe a drummer. But then like they switch out another player, and you're like, okay, well, whatever. They still sound the same.
yeah. Well, I've seen Stone Temple Pilots. They don't have their original lead singer, so
Yeah.
but they're still a good show. But yeah, I would think it's easier to replace a drummer.
Yeah.
Chinese
Drummer,
balloons,
bassist.
UFOs, octagonal objects, spheres. Is this anything, nothing, or something, Gary?
I'm going to go nothing again.
Nothing.
There's so much crap floating around. Think about it right now. Okay, yes. So there was those random little balloons or whatever they were flying around. But I mean, think about all the satellites and everything that are just up there.
So you're saying this is just kind of space debris?
I'm not saying it's space debris, but I mean, unless they literally picked up the pieces, and I haven't really been following much of it. I just know that there was some sort of random stupid balloon that they shut down, and people are going crazy about it because they waited too long. But then if they went and shot it down over something and it fell on something, then they'd be complaining, "Oh, you shot it down over American airspace, and now
You're right.
blah blah." So no matter what happens, no one's ever going to be happy. But I don't know. I think it's just a bunch of baloney.
You're not worried yet.
Man, I'm never worried.
You know what's interesting, Gary, is our show where we discussed UFOs.
Mm-hmm.
One of our most popular podcasts.
Is it really?
Most downloads. People love UFOs.
Yeah, I guess they do. Jeez. All right.
Right. And then former South Carolina governor and ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, announces she's running for president. Is this anything, nothing, or something, Gary?
Maybe something. I don't know.
Maybe something.
I don't know. I have no idea. Who is it again?
Nikki Haley. She's a Republican.
Oh. All right. Nah.
But I saw you're wearing your red tonight, so I thought maybe you were.
Yeah, look at it. You like that?
Starting the.
Let's see. Well, let me tell you. Depends on what she looks like. Let's see. Nikki Haley. She's all right. Not gonna win, but
okay. Right. I'm gonna write that down. Gary's first political prediction of the 24 presidential election.
Yep. Nope.
Nikki Haley is not going to win.
Nope. I think she'll make the primaries.
Nope. All right.
Nope.
Big show Saturday in Montreal.
The Elimination Chamber.
The Elimination Chambers, Sami Zayn going up against Roman Reigns. Who you got, Gary?
Ooh, that's gonna be Roman Reigns. They're not gonna give it to Sami.
Not in his hometown of Montreal.
No, only because they have it set for Roman to go all the way to WrestleMania with it. They're not gonna have him lose it now to Sami Zayn. So now something will happen. They'll all jump Sami Zayn or something. They'll all come in and something like that. He'll never get out. So yeah,
the crowd is going to be popping.
Oh, it's gonna go crazy. Yeah,
That's for sure.
Definitely gonna be crazy.
And there's going to be some great near falls.
Yes. See,
so,
I forgot it was on this weekend, and I'm like, we were gonna go over to Jupiter this weekend, and I was like, damn it. So now I'm like, I got to take my little Fire Stick with me so I can watch it on Saturday. So, but yeah, should be a good time. I mean, some of the matches I've seen look like they're going to be pretty good. I've never seen an Elimination Chamber event, so that's why I want to watch it so I can see.
And anything else, Gary, for the good of the order?
No, I think. I mean, happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Other than that, I don't have anything else today. We're good. That's it.
All right. Good luck to you later in the week, Gary, if you know what I mean.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yep.
And yeah, I think that's it for tonight. I hope everyone enjoyed the show. Happy Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Hope everyone's getting their snuggles and
thank you,
rings and
Oliphant PA for your.
Yes. Thank you to all our listeners for the viewer and listener mail. Appreciate that. Hopefully have more of that to come in the future.
I want to say
right, well, that's
before we go. 2 episodes in a row. Perfection.
Thank you.
Episodes in a row of perfection. I love
Thank you. How about this new the internet streaming gods are smiling down upon me.
I'm going to throw you one
no
of these.
glitches.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, that's going to end it for us tonight. As always, thank you to my co-host and producer extraordinaire, Gary McDaniel. I am Brian Lennon. We will talk to you again next week.
Peace out, everyone.